So, remember when you were a kid and you used to do that? Here's the church, here's the steeple, open the doors, but there's no people. Just joking. It was here's the church and here's the steeple, open the doors, and there's the people. Hi, I'm Pastor John, and thank you for tuning into my channel. I haven't thought of a name for it yet, but today I want to talk to you about the church and the people. Today is Sunday, March 22nd, and we just had our first online service that we did in my church here, and it went amazingly well. We've been shut down for a week now because of the coronavirus, the COVID virus, and some amazing things have happened. We think a lot about church. We think a lot about buildings. We think a lot about the campus of a church. And we panic because what happens when the church isn't available? Well, what happens is when you have the church and the steeple and you open the doors and there's no people, the people are out in the world. The people are in the community. And so, what has happened with this virus is that we have been forced to take the church out into the community and be a church without walls. And that is actually a good thing. In the 1950s, and actually even before that, I would say maybe in the turn of the century, turn of the 20th century, church buildings became very, very important. Your church became defined by what it looked like, what the grounds looked like, what building materials were used. And so you see some of these magnificent old churches from that time, from the 1950s and from the turn of the century, from the 1890s, these glorious buildings of stone, brick, stained glass, different styles of architecture from Romanesque to Gothic to modern. And these huge buildings were loaded with people. And what's happened over the years is these giant buildings have become a liability. They're still gorgeous, they're still beautiful, but as church attendance dwindles, these large buildings then become a burden because they have to be repaired, they have to be maintained. Especially if some of these beautiful old churches become historic landmarks, a congregation can really be saddled with the upkeep and care of the building. But what this pandemic has taught us right now is that the buildings aren't important. It's the people. It's the people that make the church. And so this morning, I had an amazing Zoom meeting with our senior pastor and members of our congregation. It was some of the most meaningful ministry that I've been engaged in while I'm a minister since I've been ordained. And this just proves that we don't need to be concerned about the church walls. We need to be concerned about people. And that's what this is refocusing our ministries on. All of us as human beings, whether you belong to a church or not, are concerned with caring for one another now. We have to be able to reach out to those who are in need, those who are vulnerable, those who have no resources. We need to be able to take care of each other. And in times of crisis, this is the strength of us being human beings, is that we are able to care for one another, to love one another, and to provide the hope that will carry us all through. I'll end this session with a quote from Romans chapter 12, verse 12 from the Revised Standard Edition of the Bible. And it says, rejoice in hope, be patient in suffering, persevere in prayer, contribute to the needs of the saints, and extend hospitality to strangers. What more do we need but for us to be hopeful? And while we are enduring hardships, that we have purpose, that we are able to pray, and that we are able to support each other, whether we are saints or sinners or just people living together. We all are able to support each other, and what a wonderful thing we're able to do. So that's what the church is about. It's not about buildings, it's about people. So when the church is empty, we are able to persevere and go on. So, like, subscribe, do whatever else YouTubers do, and I will hopefully post more videos soon. So, be well, be at peace, don't be anxious, and God bless you. This is Pastor John.